Have you ever looked around and felt like you're surrounded by a graveyard of your old hobbies? You know the feeling. You get super passionate about something, you dive in, learn everything you can, and then poof, a new, shiny passion comes along. And it can feel like you're just stuck in this frustrating cycle of quitting. But what if the problem isn't that you're quitting at all? What if this is the real issue? You look out at your life and you see a dozen different roads you could take, and the crazy thing is they all feel like you. It's not that you're afraid of the work, it's that you're completely paralyzed by the choice. If that's hitting home for you, then you are in exactly the right place. And this quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? It's that feeling of having this immense potential bubbling up inside you, but it's mixed with this profound, almost painful lack of direction. You know you're capable, but the sheer number of options is just, well, it's overwhelming. Well, that feeling actually has a name. It's called the scanner's dilemma. Society loves to put labels on people like this, right? A dilettante, a jack of all trades, master of none. And those labels, they create a ton of anxiety. They can make you feel like your greatest strength, that boundless, insatiable curiosity, is actually your biggest career liability.
So, our whole goal here today is to just completely take that anxiety apart, piece by piece. We're going to re-examine the very idea of what a successful career even looks like, and give you a new map, a new path for all of us who were never, ever meant to be just one thing.
And here's the thing you have to understand, and this is so important. The problem isn't you, it's the advice you've been given. The old career playbook, the one that tells you to pick one thing and stick with it forever, it was written for a world that honestly doesn't really exist anymore. Let's break down why. Okay, so psychologists talk about two kinds of learning environments. First, you've got a kind environment. Think of golf. The rules are predictable, you get immediate feedback on your shot, and repetition is the key to getting better. But more and more, we're living in a wicked environment. Think of a firefighter. Every fire is different, the rules are constantly changing, and the patterns are anything but obvious. That traditional career path, the one where you become a hyper-specialist, was designed for that stable, predictable, kind world. And let's be super clear, we absolutely still need specialists. The problem isn't that their path is wrong. The problem is when it's treated as the only path, leaving everyone else feeling like they're doing something wrong. So if you want to build a career that actually works for your brain, you have to stop thinking in terms of job titles and start thinking in shapes. This is where we find a much better, more flexible model for success. It all starts with a classic. First up, you have the I-shaped person. This is your classic specialist. They've got a single, deep pillar of knowledge. You know, a mile deep, but maybe only an inch wide. This is the model that our society has been celebrating for the last 100 years. The exact opposite of that is the dash-shaped person, the dabbler. And honestly, this is a trap that so many of us scanners fall into. We're a mile wide, but only an inch deep. You know a little bit about everything, but you don't feel like you have any solid ground to stand on. And that is where all that anxiety comes from. But then there's a third shape, the M-shaped professional, the polymath. This is the game changer. This isn't about being a dabbler. This is about building deep expertise, multiple pillars of it, and then connecting them with a broad base of general knowledge. This is the model that turns your so-called distractions into an absolute superpower. Let's make this real with an example. Imagine one of your pillars is data science. You go deep on that. Your second pillar, storytelling. You go deep there too. And that horizontal bar connecting them is all your other interests, psychology, history, design. All of a sudden, you're not just a distracted data scientist. You are the rare, unique person who can take complex data and turn it into a story that a CEO can actually understand and act on. That specific combination is incredibly valuable. So what's the secret ingredient that makes the M-shaped polymath so powerful? It comes down to a really cool psychological concept called far transfer. This is your unique ability to connect things that nobody else sees are connected. See, a specialist usually uses what's called near transfer. They apply a skill to a really similar problem. But a polymath superpower is far transfer. This is that rare, almost magical ability to see the fundamental pattern in one area and then apply it to solve a problem in a totally different one. So what does this actually look like? It's seeing the branching structure of a tree's roots and having a light bulb go off, realizing it's a better way to organize a company's database. It's using your deep understanding of musical harmony to write software code that's just more elegant and efficient. All those random interests you've collected over the years, they're not random. They become your personal library of metaphors for innovation. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually build an M-shaped life without just falling back into that dabbler trap? Well, it takes a real strategy. Here's a 3-part plan to get you there. The whole plan boils down to 3 key moves. You need to practice something called serial mastery, find a strategic job, and build an external system for all your ideas. Let's break each of those down. All right, first up is serial mastery. You can't build all your pillars at once. That's the path to burnout. You have to pick one and commit to it for a season, let's say 6 to 18 months. Your goal isn't perfection, it's about 80% fluency. And here's the key. You have to lower the stakes. You're choosing for now, not for forever. Then when you're ready, you practice what we call strategic quitting. It's not quitting at all, it's a graduation. It's a conscious choice to start building your next pillar. Second, you need to completely reframe how you see your day job. It's not a cage, it's a strategic platform. A job that gives you stability without draining every last drop of your mental energy. Think of Einstein's famous gig as a patent clerk. That is a massive asset. It gives you a surplus of your most valuable resource, the cognitive energy you need to go explore and build your other pillars. And finally, part 3, you have to build an external system. A scanner's brain is an idea factory. It's constantly churning out new things. But your working memory, it's a tiny workbench. You can't hold everything in your head. You need a trusted system. It could be a simple notebook, a digital app, whatever works for you, to capture all those fleeting ideas and obsessions. This lets you collect the dots now so you can connect them later, maybe even years down the road. So if there is just one thing you take away from all this, please let it be this. You are not a dabbler who lacks focus. You are a potential polymath. Your brain is literally designed to be a bridge between different worlds of knowledge. So forget that old, tired advice. Maybe you were never meant to master just one thing. Maybe, just maybe, you were meant to be the person who can see how everything connects.